All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow, and yeah, I was just trying to go live, and all my internet just disconnected, and then it just messed up everything in kind of a chain reaction. So I just restarted a lot of stuff. So anyway, I am live, as I said, and I just deleted the other video, so sorry about that. But if you notice, I am changing my studio, my setting, my environment a bit. I'm getting rid of the green screen. I'm just going to go. I've got 2 more shelves systems that I'm going to be building. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I'm going to be changing. So yeah, sorry about that. I am back. And basically what we're talking about is this whole thing that Charles Hoskinson recently posted about WikiLeaks, basically saying that US aid was funding just a lot of propaganda. I mean, like, this isn't anything that the majority of us didn't know already. I mean, let's be honest. We knew that propaganda was being pushed. We just didn't know who was paying for it. And now we know a lot of it was coming out of US aid. And basically this was all just stuff that was pushing this narrative that Bitcoin and blockchain stuff was right-wing extremism, which is insane. But the problem is, and I hate to say this, folks, because I know some of you guys are on the left, and I don't mean any ill will, but like, what will it take? What will it legitimately take for some of you folks to realize that you've been played for years and years and years? And I'm not saying things don't happen from the right either. I'm not saying that at all. I am not a right or a left. It's just a matter of what's happening with who at what time. And the pendulum swings back and forth, back and forth. And I used to tell everybody, you know, when people were screaming at us during the pandemic and people were yelling at everybody, get your jab and do this and do that and listen to what you're told and trust the science and everything. I'm like, you know what, people, this pendulum is going to swing back, and then you guys are going to do nothing but play the victim. And I'm like, you know, you're trying to victimize everybody else from this self-righteous sandbox when you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, you know, there's going to be a point, because there always is, where that pendulum is going to swing back the other way, and it's going to bite you, and you're really not going to have anything to say. You're just not going to be able to cry about it, because you've been doing this to everyone else for years now, and doing it in a way that promotes the profiteering of the corrupt administrations, just the bad people, man. And like, it's like, I see so many people that try to push this stuff, but I feel like it's one giant connected narrative that's been paid for by people that want to increase the amount of control they have over us, while using these humanitarian topics of interest to garner support, and to basically make those that support those things a smokescreen for everything else going on behind the scenes. And what's going on behind the scenes is not pretty, and it's being exposed. And, you know, when I saw this post from Charles, I'm like, dude, I'm sick of it too. Not only am I sick of it, I'm sick of the people that are constantly megaphoning this shit all over the place, as though they're like these millions of Manchurian candidates that just get triggered by something, and then they go off and they just start rambling and ranting, and they don't even know what they're saying most of the time. They just know that this is what their friends think. This is what their families think. This is what their echo chambers online think. So it must be right. And they all they all go about this stuff in this arrogant way of, and the majority agree. I used to hear that all the time. The majority agrees, because the idea was that the left won the 2020 election, that the majority agreed. Well, you know, what do you got to say now? The majority, regardless of what you thought, the majority doesn't agree with you anymore. And a lot of these narratives have just gone out the window. And so many of these narratives were targeting someone to make all of these people hate him, because of exactly what's happening now. They knew if he got back in, he wasn't part of their old boys club. He wasn't part of their team anymore. He wasn't there to just play a role, to be like this guy that stands up there and talks off a teleprompter and does what he's told and signs the documents he's put in front of him. He had his own ideas how he wanted to change the country to be beneficial for the people, not the politicians, not the corporations, not the people that were, giving him money. And so, it is what it is. I'm, I see a lot of stuff like Elon was never elected. Listen, I'm tired of hearing that bullshit too, because, neither was Kamala, whatever. Like, she wasn't elected for anything. It's like Bill Gates, nobody said anything when he's running around spouting all his stuff. George Soros, nobody had anything to say against these people. In fact, they idolize a lot of these people. Fauci, who elected Fauci to basically control the entire country and basically give all this medical advice to the world while he's literally profiting from that advice? It's like, people, if you realize that you're wrong and you've been played, just admit it and figure out ways to move forward in a more productive, constructive way. Stop looking at the other side as the enemy. The other side isn't the enemy. Chances are the other side is just as much a victim as you. You're just louder about it. You're just more bought in. We really need to start figuring out ways to come together, because this stuff is it's just really getting out of hand. But yeah, man, USA, they've been paying a lot of money to a lot of different media outlets and the like to perpetuate these narratives. And this is why we in order for them to do like the Operation Choke Point 2.0 with Elizabeth Warren, debanking crypto corporations, crypto companies, basically trying to maintain control, this centralized dominance that, they know, a decentralized blockchain utilized for everything from governance to voting to this or that. That's a danger to the people that want to be able to pluck money from anywhere they want for whatever they want. Blockchain doesn't really work that way. Which is why there's this narrative now that Elon's been putting out saying, hey, we need to start putting like the U.S. Treasury and some of these other systems on the blockchain so that it's transparent for everybody to review. Do you honestly think that anyone in the government wants that? Maybe they do now in the current administration. They're all about transparency. I haven't seen this much transparency in an administration since I don't know how long. And so that's the idea, man. In a very small, watered down nutshell, the more they can make people believe that Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain is bad, the less likely it is that they're going to support narratives associated with utilizing that technology to benefit the people. They're basically convincing people to hate themselves and to hate anything that would benefit them. And we can look out the window and see how many people bought into this bullshit. And it's destructive. And they're always so loud and they're always so opinionated on things that they really just unfortunately don't know what they're talking about. I know professors, I know some people that are otherwise very brilliant people, but they are caught up in this nonsensical ecosystem of lies beget lies, beget lies, beget manipulation, and just they're just so caught up in these narratives, and it's just what they believe. And it's not because any of it's rooted in reality or fact, but their indoctrination since school. I actually watched this interview recently. So my wife was telling me, and some of you guys in chat can confirm this if you want. But, we talk about how I'm kind of on the spectrum a little bit. It's never been diagnosed, but it's been pretty obvious. Since I was a kid. And even more so now as an adult, I'm realizing a lot of things socially and just a lot of little things. And, and we have friends that we literally have friends of all walks of life. And, it's just that we don't judge anyone based on anything other than like your heart. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, are you generally a good person? Then that's cool. That's all we care about. We don't care where you come from. We don't care, who you're married to or we don't care about anything other than what is the core of you about. If you are a good person, everything else is noise. And and my wife was telling me how, and there's a couple good friends of ours, and the wife is a staunch Republican. I had no idea. She's on the spectrum, 100%. But I had no idea until this recent election that she was a hardcore Republican, that her whole family was. I didn't think that was the case. We'll just say that. And so, I kind of thought, okay, that it makes more sense now. And my wife said, no, I don't know a single person that's on the spectrum that's on the left. Right. And I thought, okay. And I'm like, that makes some sense to me. But then I was watching Brett Weinstein talking to Joe Rogan, and how he and Joe Rogan had like what would be considered, like learning disabilities or learning dysfunctions when they were younger. And I guess Brett Weinstein is apparently on the spectrum to some degree. And he pointed out that he believes the same thing, that a lot of people on the spectrum are on the right, because the methods by which they learn and absorb information is very different than the average person. And so they miss that connection and that long-term indoctrination over time that starts early at a very early age, continues on through high school, then into college. And and it makes a lot of sense, because I left high school as a sophomore. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I was actually supposed to skip 2 grades when I was in grade school. But I think it was the 4th grade is where it started. And they said, listen, if you can behave for a year, we'll let you skip the 5th grade and go into the 6th. That didn't happen. I was always in the principal's office acting out. I don't know. I had a lot of anger issues or something. And then they tried it one more time in the 5th grade. They said, if you could behave for 1 year, we'll let you skip the 6th grade into the 7th. That didn't happen. Always in the principal's office. And then we ended up moving. But I ended up leaving school as a sophomore anyway. And I missed a lot of that indoctrination. Like, I never went to college. I didn't get into that atmosphere where the social pressures and the social norms of those in college that are, exploring and learning about themselves and their thoughts and their feelings and all of these things. I never took a part in any of that. And I've always been a loner, and I've always been just an independent thinker. I just like Joe Rogan said, everything I know in life has been through my own experiences outside of any kind of school. School teaches you basically how to be a lemming. I mean, it does. That's the whole nature of it. If you go back to Rockefeller, when he first started creating these school systems, it was all about basically training people to be factory workers, like inadvertently. I mean, it was all about basically keeping people's mental state in very small boxes so that they didn't want for much. They didn't learn, they didn't know enough. They learned what they needed to do to work. And that was it, to be a cog in a wheel. And if you didn't participate in that, then chances are you probably did better than most. And, we've had these decades of like this indoctrination that, you go to school, you get your degree, you get your job, you work hard, you pay your taxes, you retire, and that's life, right? You raise your family, and that's the goal, the mission. That's what everybody feels that they're set out to do. And I just think times have changed. And now people are really getting wiser to what's happening. And so anyway, we're gonna touch on, I wanted to get some of these thoughts out, but I saw Charles' Twitter post, and I'm like, man, I don't know how. I mean, Charles knows, you know what I mean? Charles is very much in the know. He knows what's going on. Yeah, it is what it is, right? So let's go ahead and look at some price action real quick. And thanks for joining, Richard. I appreciate that. Last I saw, Poman32 was on here, and I think he gifted like 50 memberships to this channel, which is crazy. I think they're just set at like $1 a month or something. Like, it's not insane. But it's still very, I mean, he's gifted a lot of memberships on here. So a lot of you guys are members. And when I put out some of the, especially once we head into the bigger portions of the bull market, because I have been thinking about, I want to start covering some of these other tokens. I want to start covering patterns and things, and what some of these projects that are likely going to do well in the bull market. So we're going to be covering a lot of that stuff, and I'm always going to be releasing it basically a day early to the members, to members only. So hopefully you guys will start seeing some more benefit out of that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the price action, what's going on in Bitcoins and Cardano. All right, so looking at this, you can see here the green and the orange. If you don't know, this is the pi cycle indicator here. We've got a long ways to go until this closes up, man. I mean, it's going to be somewhere around here at earliest. Depending on the price and how the price movement really starts to take shape. But we're under these moving averages right now, which is bearish. We really want to get above them and start moving consistently above them. And you can see here, as the price starts to really climb, that's when you start to see this orange line start to rise up and get closer to the green. And when those cross over, that's typically the call for a peak of the market. So, we shall see. But, we're still in the highs, folks. I mean, we're still in the 90,000s. And, back here in March when we reached 74,000, that new all-time high, it was like, holy cow, can't believe it's happening. Well, we're still well above that. To drop below that would be like right now we're sitting at around the 78,000 mark with this, the orange moving average. And what's interesting is that if the price happened to wick off of that, it would fill that CME gap. So it's very interesting. Do we reach that point? Maybe. I'm not sure. But looking at Cardano has just been struggle busing, currently trading at the 70-cent mark. We wicked all the way down to 50 cents and came back up, and then we started a sideways channel. Well, the fact of the matter is that there's so much stuff brewing right now, not just for Cardano, but for crypto overall. I don't want to see Bitcoin drop down to the 78,000 mark to fill that CME futures gap. I think that to be quite honest with you, depending on where the price gets, I think that CME futures gap will obviously get filled during the bear market, whenever that is. That's what I think is likely to happen. Because I think everything else has just been struggling quite a bit. You've got Solana trading sideways, and I only look at Solana because I use Solana to get an understanding as to what the manipulation looks like. I know this sounds crazy, but I that's what I look at. I want to get an idea as to what the manipulation looks like. All the way back down here, December of 2022. It was all the way down to $8, and it's all the way back up to $200. And I'm thinking, this did not happen naturally. I'm sorry to say, this just did not happen naturally. I don't think anything that's happening with Solana happens naturally. It just doesn't. But you're not going to convince any of the holders of that. To me, it's kind of like, Solana holders and the Solana investors, I know this is going to hit some of you in the teeth if you even give a shit what I say, but I really feel like Solana people are like the left. It's like they know the truth. They know what's going on. Some of them are clued in. Some of them believe that a lot of the stuff is garbage, but they're hoping for a brighter day anyway. But the majority of them just want to win so bad, they don't care how. And that's how I look at Solana, folks. And it's dishonest in a lot of ways, and it's just bad overall for everyone. When when I look at the Solana ecosystem and I look at how these meme coins are constantly draining retail liquidity from the market, and it's being put in the hands of a select number of few that keep rinsing and repeating the same bullshit over and over and over, and people just still don't learn. It's the same as like having a litany of lies about any particular thing or person, seeing those lies get debunked over and over and over and over again, but constantly believing that the next one is true, right? That's why I look at Solana and I look at the left as basically like Solana represents these people, in my opinion. And I know this may sound nuts, but if you really compare the two, it's very similar activity. It's very similar action. You've got, paid narratives that are pushing it out to the people. The people are believing it. They're bought in. They don't believe anything else. They don't even want to see it. You've got people posting the truth, all the on-chain metrics, on-chain data, all over Twitter, all over X, all over the internet. They don't want to see it because as long as numbers go up, they just don't care. And that's what I see. And then I think that's why Cardano was targeted so hard by Solana. Solana is, to me, Solana is like the centralized paid narrative garbage that is put up against and to compete with the decentralized, the truly decentralized blockchain that is basically put out for the people by the people kind of thing, ran by the people. And I think that's why it's very much a left versus right war. And you can kind of, in a sense, it simulates what's happening in the world of politics to a large extent. But what we're also learning is the house of cards always falls. I mean, it always falls. And so I keep an eye on Solana to see, like, when does that big gust of wind just knock down this house of cards? Does it ever happen? I don't know, but I do believe that it's coming. And to some extent, it's happening already. This is a quick reference before I start diving into some of the governance stuff. I want to look at some of these DREP proposals with you guys. And this is Merlin. This is a portfolio tracker. I made many mistakes in the past calling it a wallet. It is not a wallet. It does not custody your crypto. Basically, what it does is it ties into your wallet addresses or your exchange accounts. It sucks everything in. And then it keeps you abreast to all of the changes, what's going on. And it might even make some suggestions on different things. So it's a pretty cool little app, honestly. And, I've just got one of my MetaMask wallets. I've got some stable tokens on here and a little bit of Ethereum, nothing crazy. But yeah, I mean, this is basically it. And then you've got news and a lot of other stuff. And I'm sure they're going to continue adding a lot of functions and different features and things. So check it out. If you need something to keep track of your portfolio, I really haven't seen anything better than this. This is actually really solid. Now, I'm not using it for a lot of my stuff because I'm showing it, and I'm not going to show everything. I'm not showing all of my crypto stuff on here for obvious reasons. But if you're looking for something to really keep track of your crypto portfolio, I would encourage you to check this out. I'm pretty sure there's a 30-day trial if you click the link in the description below, and just check it out. It's not even an affiliate link. I don't make anything. I mean, they've been taking care of me as just a straight up sponsor of my channel, and I'd be very curious to see what everybody's feedback is on using this. Sign up now and get 30 days free. Check it out. Use it. Does it help you? And if it does help you, let me know in the comments. How does it help you? What does it help you achieve? Because, I have my way of doing things. And for people that really love like portfolio trackers to keep up with stuff, I'd be really curious to see, like, how does it help you? What does it do to benefit you in, like your risk assets? So that's that. And all right, I'm going to take a quick look at the liquidity. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this real quick because I want to make sure I'm getting the current data. Boy, we're really building up some Jesus, people. So we're definitely building up some liquidity here under around the $96,000 mark. It's probably going to be likely that we hit that because it's getting real bright. 42 million. There's another, I need to pull that up. Oh, wait, I'm on the website. Let me see. Model 1. Let's see. Model 2. Okay. This is a 24-hour. I want to look at the week. Let's see what the week looks like here. Let me know too in the comments, if you will, like, do you guys care that I don't do the green screen? Do you guys care that you're not seeing me in every frame of everything that I'm doing? So it's looking a little dead. It's definitely looking a little more green. It's getting a little brighter towards the upside as we continue over 100,000. So there's definitely more money to be liquidated at 100,000 plus than there is below 95. So, but there's still a lot of money sitting there. This is not fun. Not fun. Don't care as long as you're live. All right. Well, thanks, Eric. That's a cool note. All right. Let me see what this Model 2 has. There's something else. Yeah, I like Model 1 much better. Now, let me see here. Open interest dashboard. There was something else that I wanted to find. Liquidation history. Is this what I'm looking for? No, that's not what I'm looking for either. Dagnabbit. There was something that I've been seeing recently. I'm going to have to find that another time, and then I'm going to start showing it. But it basically just, it adds together everything. Like if the price gets to this point, this is how much will get liquidated. That's what I really want to be able to look at. So, all right, let's take a look at, is there anything else we want to check real quick? This market cap dominance starting to drop a little tiny bit, but we're still in the 60% range. You know, December, we were all the way down to 55. So we never quite got to 65%. I'm not convinced we're going to get there, but we'll see. Listen, February should be an insane month. It really should be. So we're just going to have to wait and see. We're just going to have to wait and see. All right. Budget constitutional, any budget proposal for a budget expenditure from any of the 5 categories. All right. Let's take a look at this and see what we got. This is the very first one. Oh, come on. I got to verify again. I just did all this. All right. Hold on. I have to verify my identity. I have one little book with a couple passwords. All my passwords are so long and they're all different. Unless it's something stupid and I don't care that much, but, all right. And it's going to take me a minute here. And let's see. Nope, that wasn't it. Okay, I have to do it again. That sucks. I hate that I have to do all this super long crap on my wall, on my things. You just never know. You never know. All right. So budget, constitutional guardrail, one item funded per proposal with a clear goal. Any budget proposal for a budget expenditure from any of the 5 budget categories must have A, clearly funded subject, B, it must have a clear and defined completion goal or termination point. I mean, okay. I mean, that all sounds kind of nonsensical to me. Like, of course, budget proposals that list multiple funded items and multiple goals create confusion in every governmental system ever created. The more complicated proposals get, the more things that corrupt people can hide in them. A core principle of this blockchain is transparency. Proposals for government action with reference to budget withdrawals need to be short and clear in order to improve clarity in the budgetary process and trust in the system. We believe budget proposals need to be limited to one item, and each item must have a clear goal and completion criteria. Another core principle is decentralization. We need to keep decision-making public and in front of the governance body. Hiding multiple subjects in a proposal makes it easier for manipulation to occur. I agree. I agree with that. I think it's just, to me, it's the same as, I mean, does this necessarily need to be on chain? I think this needs to be spelled out a little bit more in detail. I agree with this, but I ultimately think that we need an effective plan, like a real outline. Like your proposal needs to have X, Y, Z. And here's the thing that when I look at Cardano proposals and I look at anybody wanting money for anything, this isn't venture capital, right? I mean, this isn't venture capital. These aren't loans. These are basically grants. And I think that we are going to have so many grifters and so many people applying to get free money from the Treasury, and the majority of them are likely never going to be accountable for anything that they don't achieve. And I'm tired of seeing that waste. And to be quite honest with you, I almost feel like, to some extent, a lot of the funding should be done towards the peak of a market cycle. I mean, that's just kind of how I look at it, because a lot of the budget proposals that are going to come in for we want 200,000 ADA to build this, whatever, this app on Replit, like whatever. And I'm just telling you guys up front, I'm always going to look at I'm going to look at everything as a load of shit until it's proven otherwise, or unless it's proposed by a group with a track record for excellence. That's how I'm going to be looking at everything when it comes to Cardano budgets, because there's just so many grifters out there. When you've been around since 2017 and you've watched the number of ICOs that were launching, throwing up a white paper and an Ethereum address, just sucking people's money up and never amounting to jack shit, I'm not letting that happen on Cardano, just so you know. And the reason is because every time a proposal gets funded, that is sell pressure on the value of the currency itself, or on the token. And so why would I want to create sell pressure on something I've been accumulating for years, so that some guy can grift, 100,000 or 300,000 Cardano or 300,000 ADA, especially before the peak of a market when it's likely going to shoot up in value substantially, and they're still not going to get shit done. They're probably going to look at a lot of that as a bonus that was never equated in their proposal to begin with, because their proposals are going to be structured in a way that says, well, Cardano's worth $1 right now, and we need $200,000 to complete this. And then what happens when it's that 200,000 worth of ADA is worth like $1 million or whatever, right? That's not going into anything. Are they sending some of it back? So when I look at these proposals, that's what I effectively want to see. I want to see full-blown proposals that break down accountability. I want to see milestones. If you need $200,000 to build an application, I want to know every month, okay, it's going to take us 6 months to build this application, and every month we have to conclude this in the code that gets verified somehow, and then we get the budget for the following month. That is how projects need to be funded, in my humble opinion. And so, and maybe I need to sit down. I met with a Haskell developer at an Intersect debate where it was a friendly, fun debate. It wasn't even really a debate. We were all just sharing ideas as D-reps. And I feel like maybe I need to reach out to him and see. I can't remember if he actually lives around here or if he flew in from somewhere. But I might reach out to him and say, listen, as a Haskell developer or as a developer overall, what is the best way that we should present? We need a guideline. We need to say, okay, if you want funding for your application or your project or whatever, this is the most cost-effective method for doing it in a proposal to obtain the funding you need to build it and to make sure you build it. That's what I think is a good idea. I think I need to do it that way. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a note so I don't forget that. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Because this is my attitude is crap. It's been crap so far. I don't know who you're talking. I don't know. You talking to me? Maybe my attitude is crap. It is what it is. Crow your coins. Got to crow your coin. I haven't played that song in a while. ADA will reach $8 to $12 this bull run. I'm expecting something like that. This bull run has been horrible so far. The reality is, folks, contrary to what many of you guys believe, I believe that the meme coin market to some extent has been creating a lot of the kind of quote unquote deadness of the market, even though we're not. I think it's all an illusion. I do believe wholeheartedly that Bitcoin and the crypto market to some extent has been getting manipulated by the institutions that are accumulating it over the counter. It just doesn't take that much money. Think about it. If I'm going to spend $4 billion or $5 billion accumulating another round of Bitcoin, it doesn't take that much to make sure that price continues to get suppressed. To push the price down a certain amount, all you got to do is just add up the order books. You know, if Bitcoin is $98,000, look at the order book. How much of that order book needs to fill to bring the price down to 96,000, right? And if I'm buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin and it costs me $25 million or to move the price by 2 or 3,000, right? And then to keep it there, all I need is a few market makers on a liquidity pipeline spitting that market maker stuff out all over the place. It's suppressing the price of the market so that I'm continuing to buy in, and I'm buying it over the counter so that I'm not pushing the price up. And I've been seeing a lot of on-chain data recently showing that Bitcoin's price, or that Bitcoin, over-the-counter Bitcoin, is diminishing quickly. I don't even remember what the number was. I need to pull that up. I should have showed it in this video. There is something that I do want to show you guys real quick. Somebody sent me something. I need to figure out where I put it. Somebody sent me something recently that showed how the Cardano DREP voting power is being distributed right now. And I'm going to be honest and say, I'm not liking it too much. We need more DREPs. Now, I'm going to bring up a proposal or an idea that it's going to resonate with some of you, and then others are going to think that's a terrible idea. Some of you are going to think I'm being self-serving when in reality I'm not at all, and I'm going to show you why. But I got to find where this Dagon thing is. Hold on. I will find it somewhere. I have so many windows and so many screens. Once my studio, my office is complete, I'll do a video and I'll probably post it on Twitter. Everybody can see like what I'm always talking about. Why I'm always looking like a crazy person. Son of a gun. Where the hell did that go? Maybe I will flip through these charts. No. Pi cycle. No. Sorry about this. This is really important stuff and I can't find where I put the daggone thing. Is it one of these windows? No. Nope. I got my Quant Connect stuff I've been working on. One of these days I want to try and teach everybody some Quant Connect stuff, but it is so complicated, man. I got this book. I feel like I should have went to college just to be able to read through this daggone book. It's AI trading. I don't have it up here. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to pull up the email again. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now this was sent to me by Alex of BKV Pool. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to show this in my next video. Well, my next video is now, so I'm going to share it because it really puts things into perspective. And I think this needs to change. So let's show this. All right. There we go. All right. So this is week 6, 2025. Analysis date, February 8th. This is an overview of the data. Let me blow this up a little bit so you guys can see it a little more easily. All right. So I've looked into how our DREP system is working right now. What I found is interesting and honestly a bit concerning. Let me show you what's happening with our voting power and why it matters for everyone in Cardano. Total stake, 6.81 billion. Abstaining stake, 3.2 billion. Okay. Active stake, 3.61 billion. Active DREPs, there's only 795 of us. Active delegators, 31,402. Abstained delegators. This is the number of people who basically say, I don't want to put my voting power to anyone. I don't want to vote. I don't want to do anything with it. I just want to abstain from it altogether. I don't care about governance. I'm just here to make some money. How much voting power are we using? Not voting, 47%. 47% of ADA being held is not being utilized for the governance system. Active voting is 53%. So right off the bat, 53% of the ADA in existence is making the decisions for everything. All right. That's not really good, folks. And that's really not the nature of decentralized governance. Out of all 6.81 billion ADA in our system, 3.2 billion is set to always abstain. That's almost half of our voting power not being used. Okay. That's not good. I'm rubbing my eyes real quick. All right. Top 20 D reps by stake. Utah. I don't know who this is, but they have 373 million ADA delegated to them in voting power. You've got the Eternal Wallet Committee. I assume this is the Eternal Wallet in their committee. Block Damon, 166 million. Sebastian Guillermo, 163 million. No confidence. That's funny. Is this like the Brewster's Millions kind of thing? He's got 154. They have 154 million ADA delegated to their voting power. BTBF XSP, 139 million. Saipo at 125, Jazz at 121. You've got yours truly, Crypto Crow with 110 million. We're making up like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then Anonymous at 86 million ADA. So just us right here are the top 10 delegates or D-reps for voting power in the Cardano ecosystem. And then right under me is Cardano Yoda. Many of you guys know on Twitter. Army of Spies. I don't know what happened to them. At one point, I thought they had like 130 million ADA delegated to them, but I guess they got cut in half somehow. I'm not sure what happened there. But you can see how this is distributed, man. I mean, it's definitely top heavy for sure. Even among those who are participating, we're seeing some patterns that need our attention. A small number of representatives control most of the voting power. This isn't great for a system that's supposed to be decentralized. And I agree. This is kind of what and I think this is why this person sent this to me, because I've made comments about how much voting power I have. At 110 million ADA, I mean, that's a lot, folks. I'm pretty sure that's about 3% of the total vote. Could be more at this point. I'm not sure. Total D-reps by the number of delegators. I'm in the top 3 of D-reps based on just the number of delegators I have. I have 1,288 delegators, and I know I have more coming because I get messages from people on Twitter all the time, or X. But it's still a very far cry from the top 2. No Confidence has almost 4,500, and the Eternal Wallet Committee has 4,340, and then it just continues to drop from there. Hosky with 994, Cardano Yoda with just over 1,000, Army of Spies is now 914. So you can see that this is definitely a top-heavy ecosystem right now, and this definitely needs to change. Now, if we look at this, the one thing that comes to my mind, and this was a question that was brought up previously, and I'm gonna let you guys, I want you guys to tell me in chat what you guys think about this, because this is I'm gonna present this as an idea. You guys are gonna either love it, hate it, or you're gonna be very, very mixed. But if we look at all of this data, it's basically showing that there are a lot of people that are unmotivated in participating in the governance system. Now, that's okay, right? But we need more than, 20 D-reps that are basically accumulating all of the power in the ecosystem, and that we're the only ones making these votes. And I asked Charles when I went live with him the other day, how do we encourage more people to participate in the governance of Cardano? Because here's the thing, take the price out of it. Okay, just take the price of Cardano's ADA, take it out of the equation for now. It doesn't matter. What's being built right now isn't a gimmicky bullshit chain that venture capitalists use to prop up to basically pull liquidity out of the stupid people. Okay, that's not what Cardano is. It's not what it's ever been. It's not how it's been designed. It's just not the case. Cardano has been designed to be a truly decentralized, transparent blockchain with privacy layers, lots of layer 2 functionality, throughput, all of the stuff I mentioned in just about every video. That's the nature of Cardano. Cardano's nature is built, for an example, Elon's talking about we'd love to put the US Treasury on a blockchain. Cardano would be the absolute best case for that. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't know what the relationship really is with like Liberty, World Liberty, and those guys that Trump's got running that thing. Creating these meme tokens on Solana. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. I'm hoping that by the end of February, Trump has a much better idea and Elon has a much better idea as to what's going on, because I'm really not convinced that they know. Elon probably knows a little bit more than Trump, but I don't think Trump is really completely aware. I think he understands Bitcoin to a pretty good extent. He understands the idea behind blockchain and crypto overall, but I don't think he understands that his meme coins are on basically the worst chain in crypto. It's like he's basically launched meme coins in the red light district of blockchain tech. I don't think he has a clue. So, that all being said, how do we get more people interested in becoming D-reps and participating in Cardano's governance? I hate to say this, but the only way I can think to inspire more people to be active is compensation. Some form of compensation. Whether it's a system by which every proposal that is voted on, either there is a straight allocation for every proposal that's approved, not necessarily proposals that are rejected, forget about it. Because then you're going to get a lot of bloat and you're going to get a lot of people trying to push like fake proposals just to give D-reps more ways to generate an income stream. We don't want that. Proposals that are approved only, maybe approved proposals. And I mean, there could be a thing there too, where you got people that are just working together to try and pump up. Man, this is a really tricky thing, man. Like, this is really a tricky question. But the gist of it is that if there was a system by which D-reps were compensated for the time and effort that they have to put in, I mean, Congress makes money. Look how much Congress makes, right? And, nobody goes to Congress because they just want the $150,000 a year salary or whatever it is. How many people in Congress are multi-millionaires, tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in their bank accounts as a career politician making, six figures annual salary. All right. So now, granted, we know, especially now that a lot of that is opening up more, that a lot of these people are career politicians because the money's so good, and the money's not good because of the salary, but because of all of the kickbacks they're getting from XYZ, right? We don't want that in Cardano. We want the system to be clean. But in order to have a truly decentralized governance, we need more participation, and more participation beyond just, I like that guy, I'm going to let him handle my voting for me. We need more people wanting to be active participants in the D-rep system. So what is the answer to that? Is a compensation package relevant to the work put in by the D-reps? Is that a solid thing? Is for every proposal that's passed, maybe, 1% of the approved budget for any particular project is distributed amongst the D-reps that made a vote? We need something like that. And we really need to put our minds together into coming up with something, because time's ticking and there are going to be a lot of people, especially as Cardano gets to grow. And the more the price of Cardano continues growing, we're going to get more and more people trying to grift, more and more people trying to pass budgets. And like I told Charles, man, I'm like, dude, it's just a matter of time when Cardano gets to a point where the system itself is starting to operate more smoothly. Because right now, this is still a baby. This is basically like we just stuck our flag in the ground and said, this is the United States. Here's the Constitution that we're trying to implement. Here's the system by which we want to operate as a country, right? And there are going to be ebbs and flows. There are going to be problems to be solved. This is still, I see people on Twitter and they're like, I don't like the way this is going. I'm done with this. And it's like, listen, if you've been a part of the Cardano ecosystem since 2018 or 2017, then nothing worth having comes easy. And this is going to take more effort. This isn't just going to we're not hitting a light switch and tomorrow we are the magna cum laude of the blockchain world, right? This is a growing thing. So, but we need to address that. So, cough, cough, Pelosi. Yeah, AOC is another one. How many ADA is on the exchanges? I do not know off the top of my head. Just start paying to play like the rest of them. Well, yeah, that was a thing. It's just like, how long is it going to be until we start getting lobbyist groups that are basically going around and, these groups, we're the same way we have like influencer marketing companies, right? It's like, oh, do you want an influencer to talk about your product on their YouTube channel? Well, we have connections to them, right? We're going to have a similar thing with D-reps. It's going to happen. And what sucks is that we're at that point, you're going to start seeing more and more people wanting to be D-reps. How do we compensate D-reps in a fair way that creates an environment that basically pushes lobbyist type activity out, and keeps things a little more pure? I would love to hear your comments on that. Because I'm stumped. I don't know 100%. If I really sat down and grinded it out, I could probably come up with something. I think this is a good idea, but there's definitely more. There's more to it. And it needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. Implement a constitutional, Collins really, let's see what he has to say on this. Implement a constitutional bar to the Treasury, burning ADA. Constitutionally limit the Treasury against actions that burn ADA governance coins. Okay. This action would show a complete lack of understanding of the purpose and power of this blockchain. The goal of the Cardano blockchain and our governance body should be to use this technology to free communities from fiat manipulation. Burning tokens to raise the price of ADA shows a complete lack of vision. And I agree with that. There's no reason to be burning. There's no reason to be burning Cardano, man. I know everybody wants price to go up, but there's just no reason. It demonstrates that we measure our success by the amount of fiat we can attract. This is explicitly antagonistic to our core mission. The reason we need to make this a constitutional guardrail is to make sure an entity cannot purchase enough voting power to implement this policy. I agree with that. Interesting. I like that proposal. I will give that a thumbs up. D-rep ADA pool. Man, there's so much stuff. I'm like starting to feel a little nauseous. Let me take a quick look. Oh, I've been live almost an hour. That's why. When I talk consistently for like an hour, I just start to feel a little like, ooh, I've been talking too much. Let me see what you guys have to say in chat. Let me scroll up a little bit, address any questions I can. Crow, I'm delegating to your Crow node. Does that automatically go to voting power as well? No. So here's the thing. So if you're delegating to my Crow node, which thank you, by the way, that is completely separate from delegating to me as a D-rep. All right. Effectively, you can't. So let's say you've delegated your ADA to the Crow node, right? And you start getting that passive yield every epoch. After a couple epochs, you'll start seeing ADA start entering your wallet, but it's not efficiently. It's not actually entering your wallet yet because they've changed the system so that you have to delegate your ADA to a D-rep or be a D-rep where you delegate to yourself as a D-rep before you can unlock the ADA that you've basically generated passively through delegating to a node. I know it sounds more confusing than it actually is, but if you delegate to the Crow node and then you go to like cryptocrow.io, and I'll show you guys real quick what I'm talking about here, because I have a guide that shows. And here's the thing. While it's fun to look at my voting power and say, oh my gosh, I'm at 110 million. And, gosh, I'm so powerful. I'm so loved. I do appreciate it. But a part of me does believe that we should be capping D-rep power. But we can't really, and I think that will probably be a thing at some point in the future. I just don't think we can effectively do that until we have more D-reps. But if you go up here, you can see in the top menu, just click Crypto Crow Cardano D-rep, and this shows you a guide. Here's my D-rep ID. Here's a link that you can click to vote Crow. And it's just basically a step-by-step, like using Eternal Wallet right now. And then you can, and it's pretty much the same across any wallets. But if you click that link, it'll basically show you how to delegate your voting power to me. But there are other qualified D-reps as well. You do not have to, like, let me make this clear. Okay. I appreciate everybody that's delegating their voting power to me. And I, of course, am going to do absolutely the best I can in the position, because I know that a lot of you guys have put a lot of faith and trust in me to make the right calls, to make the decisions that are necessary. I'm always going to vote based off of what I think is going to benefit the Cardano blockchain, as well as the people using it as much as possible. But there are a lot of people out there that are truly smarter than me, that are going to understand things, especially some of the most technical elements of things. I think we need all kinds personally, right? I think that my perception of things is very valuable, I will admit. But there are some things that I think are going to be more technical. And I think that the technical minds are going to play a big role. So I guess what I'm saying is don't feel like I'm the end all be all for everything. It's good to have a diverse group of D reps that are properly empowered to make decisions for the chain. I'm not saying, just vote for any Tom, Dick, or Harry or Sally or Barb just because there's a D rep ID and you're like, I'm just going to throw this around. You want to be educated on who you're empowering. But I really do believe that we should have a more diverse group of D reps in the system, and it's okay to support them even if you follow my channel, and I do mean that. So anyway, hopefully I answered your question there in a good way. Poban's in the chat. Yasser, welcome, Crow supporter. He hasn't posted in 3 months. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Crow, no one knows where to go to vote. Well, now you do. I guess I answered that question for you. That is more active voting than the U.S. presidential voting. No, that's not really true. Change to very cool guy and you're golden. I feel like a lot of you guys are chatting with each other, and it's confusing to me because I'm not sure if you're talking to me. Incentivize voting by decreasing their percentages every time they don't vote. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if people aren't going to be voting and participating, but here's the thing: as voting becomes more and more a thing, I do believe that people are going to start recognize like those that aren't participating. Right. The problem, though, is at what point. Oh, yeah. And just so you guys know, off the cuff, there's I'm seeing 1,414 viewers. Apex Fusion's launching very soon. So I will be doing a video on Apex Fusion here in the not so distant future. My node has been kicking off, started off in testnet, and all the mainnet stuff is about to be announced. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up to be ready. And I'm looking at a list right now of 22 development partners, 22 major development partners with Apex Fusion. So I'm going to be doing a video in the not so distant future covering that before they effectively kick things off. You guys will have probably a couple days notice when the video comes out, and those of you that are members of the channel, you're going to get it a day early. All right. To be fair, Hoskinson is always fed up. I wish just the price action would go up. I'm pretty sure no confidence means they select the option to say they don't trust any of the reps and want new elective reps or something like that. Maybe that's it. And you know what? It's up to any Cardano holders that are supportive of the chain and really want to play a role in making a difference to become D-reps and start getting yourself known. X has been a phenomenal place for a lot of these guys to generate interest in their endeavors as D-reps. So yeah, nothing's stopping any one of you guys from becoming a D-rep and start campaigning. It's just like stocks. The more you have, the more voting power you have. I still, just so that you guys know, I have not delegated. The only ADA that I own that I've delegated to my own D rep is, I think is it like 1,100 or something. I have not delegated to myself all of the ADA that I could. I haven't delegated it to anybody or anything yet. I'm going to. I will be soon, but I haven't yet. So yeah, I haven't even empowered myself with what I've accumulated over the last 2 years. I think this centralization is what people used to argue against proof of stake. Thanks for all the transparency. This could be a huge problem down the road. Yeah, and I do believe it's going to change. I really do. I believe that the number of D-reps is going to continue to grow. I think right now, a lot of people just, I don't know. I don't know if it's an incentive thing, or it's a time thing, or people just don't think that they'll be able to compete with some of the bigger names in the space that are accumulating. But I disagree, man. I think there are a lot of people out there that would love to vote and delegate their voting power for newcomers. They're just people that are like that. So I have buy orders at 55 cents. I hope those don't fill. Still waiting on Daedalus wallet to download. Had to buy a whole unit for it. Shakes my head. Yeah, I mean, remember, Daedalus wallet, the difference between Daedalus and all the others is Daedalus is you're actually updating and downloading the entire Cardano chain. So, yeah, it's not like setting up Eternal or the Lace wallet or any of those. It's a totally different ball game. Higher staking rewards for participation, maybe. On the spectrum, no way you have Asperger's, Crow. You might be surprised. I don't know how far on the spectrum I am, but I have to be. I just wouldn't make sense if I wasn't. If you're not voting, you should be monetarily penalized. Let them figure out amount and repercussion with the also added rejection of service. All right. Yeah, they go to Congress to insider trade. You all should be compensated. Ridiculous to think otherwise. Okay, I definitely believe there are arguments for both sides there. 100%. Todd, I'm 47, so I get it, sadly. Poeman 13, did I know you were 47? I'm 47. We're both a couple of old dudes. You know that? Lots of ADA has been coming off exchanges into wallets. Yeah, I mean, I believe that there's an element of supply shock coming for Cardano as well. I just think that these institutional interests are accumulating a lot of what they believe are going to be the big ones. And quite frankly, man, I believe that people that are trading a lot of this meme coin garbage, you guys had fun with the meme coin shit during the bear market. I believe you had fun with the NFTs. We all had fun with NFTs. I just think that those narratives are done. I think that a lot of the meme coin narratives, the NFT stuff, I believe that a lot of that is very, very gimmicky until it's not. So a lot of these like little, I think the ones that have come out and have done decent and are in the hands of a lot of people. Yeah, I think the government's right. Saks, they're collectibles. But I think that I think there are going to be a lot more people that keep trying to launch, people launch meme coins to rug pull everybody, right? And, I think I saw was it Dave Portnoy launched a meme coin and he keeps adding to his own liquidity every milestone. And he's like, I'm not selling. And he showed his wallet was worth like 2 million worth of his own meme coin. He's like, I'm still not selling and I'm not selling. And he's trying to make it a point. I mean, the guy's so stupid rich. He doesn't have to sell. He doesn't have to dump on people. But when you have a lot of these grifters that are out there launching these meme coins, or you have these companies that are, they're, the Hawktua girl and all of that, she doesn't have a clue what the hell she's doing. Somebody came to her and said, hey, we're going to launch a token that's going to make you and us, a lot of people, a lot of money. Do you care? Sign this paper. And she's like, yeah, sure. I don't care. And they do what they do. They launch a shit coin. They pump the hell out of it. They use the notoriety or the popularity of the person that they've attached to the project to basically build exit liquidity. And when the price gets to a certain point and they're monitoring it and they're like, all right, we're starting to peter out, let's go ahead and dump. And then they dump and it's done. And then everybody's mad at the person that basically allowed them to do it. But a lot of these people didn't know any better. It's just the nature of things. Stop buying these fucking meme coins. I mean, I don't know what else to tell people. Crow, you need to go on a diet. I know. I just started. Thanks for pointing that out. There has to be more marketing on how to be a D-rep. I agree, which is kind of why I'm doing this live today. Just to try and I delegated to you buff pops, had to do so to get my rewards. Am I buff? Apparently I need to go on a diet. I mean, I'm just like a giant old man. Yeah, I agree. NFTs should have always been collectibles. They always have been collectibles. That's the thing. It's the SEC was just trying to paint these narratives, man. They're just trying to keep people out. To be honest, I'd be happy with ADA just revisiting its 2021 all-time high at this point. I think it's going to far exceed that. I really do believe a lot of Cardano holders are going to be very, very pleasantly surprised. And potentially as soon as the end of this month, I think people are going to start getting some real hope. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I definitely, like, if you haven't delegated your ADA to a node yet to generate a passive yield, not just the delegate, not the derep stuff, but just delegating it. Because I know there are so many people out there that are holding ADA in their wallets and they haven't delegated to a node. Delegate that shit to the Crow node. Like, do it today, man. Like, it makes you Cardano. It makes me more Cardano. It makes my administrator, who's working his ass off, he monitors everything now. Like, Dave, the guy that is handling my nodes for me now, is a rock star, like a flat out fucking rock star. He's done so great. He gives me these updates all the time. He's built this whole like admin panel to show, like, he told me I could show it, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to show it. But he put together this badass administrative panel to show me every little nook and cranny of my nodes and everything that they're doing. And I'm just like, man, that's badass. He's just done such a great job. And, he'll tell me, he's like, today's payday. And he sends me a message and shows me like how much ADA I generated for myself running the node. Because I mean, I'm spending, I think he said I'm spending like $700 something bucks a month for all of the server shit that I have for my nodes. So, and it's like through a bear market, I'm operating at a major loss. So I'm sure I'm probably still not even broken even, yet. But I mean, it is what it is. It's like, it's not necessarily a profit center for me. It's just, I just like being a part of Cardano from the beginning, and I'm willing to eat some to play a role in the decentralized nature of our future. And that's kind of the way I look at it. Everything will come in time, but if you're not delegating ADA to a node, consider delegating to CROW and write down now, because you guys need to be generating a passive yield anyway. So that's it for today, folks. I do want to thank Merlin, my sponsor. I'm going to be working on some other stuff. Hopefully I'm able to finish this studio and it'll all be all nice and pretty by tomorrow, because I do know what I want to do for tomorrow. I didn't have anything planned today other than just kind of going over a little bit of DREP stuff and talking for a little while. So until next time, thanks for joining me, guys. Definitely leave your comments below and subscribe if you haven't already. Now is the time. You're going to want to be subscribed to this channel as we move further into February, especially into May. So until then, crow your coins, and I'll see you.